Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash. I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. I'm back in Oak Camp. I'm going to answer another question from a viewer as I have some afternoon coffee along the way. So, the question comes from Michael W. and he asks, I've been watching your channel for quite a while now and I really enjoy it. I was wondering, while you have been on YouTube with your channel, what's the most difficult thing you've had to overcome on the YouTube journey? And that's a really good question because I've been on YouTube, let me think, about 5.5 years. And as YouTube, I believe, has been around for 20 years, so that's kind of over a quarter of the lifetime of this platform. And I think I came somewhat late to it, really. I was 49 years of age. But that said, it's been an experience learning more about it, and I have actually sat down and given this challenge some consideration. And there are a number of areas which is worth exploring. So you might be maybe a YouTuber out there yourself, and you're thinking about, is it worth keeping on going with this hobby? Or maybe you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you're looking at somebody who's been in it for a while. I know my channel is not huge. I don't know what, 87 odd thousand subscribers. So, by no means are we a high flying channel. We're just a sort of grinding mediocrity channel, I guess. But let me tell you of some of these challenges that I've personally faced. The first one you have to face really is becoming comfortable with putting yourself out there, because it's an odd thing, isn't it, to speak to a device in an empty field, as I often do, and put your message across to tens of thousands of people that you'll never meet, that you never see, and you don't know how your message is landing with them. Now, I by nature am a somewhat reticent and naturally shy person. I am rarely the loudest man in any room. I like to keep my powder dry in most social situations and see what's going on before I run off at the mouth. So maybe projecting myself to tens of thousands of people is a very unnatural thing to do. And it felt like that. But I would say it becomes more comfortable over time. I feel, from watching my videos back occasionally for quality purposes, I'm not an ardent fan of watching myself on video. I find that uncomfortable. But generally speaking, I think I come across as I do in real life when I make the videos now. Earlier days, somewhat different. It was a bit more contrived, a bit more unnatural. But now, if you meet me in the flesh, as you're likely to do if you come to any of our Nirvana Club meetups, you'll find me largely as you see me right now. So I'm getting over that. The next challenge was really dealing with the self-doubt. You do get a bit of an imposter syndrome, because the fact of the matter is I give a lot of advice here on style, on dressing well, on etiquette and lifestyle in general. And I did think to myself, when I started doing it, who the hell are you to give advice to anybody else? What makes you so special? And the fact of the matter is nothing. There is nothing at all special about me. I am just an ordinary man on the journey to Chap Nirvana, just like you. And what I've done is basically document that journey using YouTube as my platform. I keep a journal, I write things down in there. This is kind of that, but in video form. Now, I do have some advantages over some of you. Firstly, I may be older than you, right? I'm 55. So I've got quite a lot of time under my belt on that life journey. So sometimes I give advice based on experience that I have gained myself. Just normal advice. Some advice has been gained from the jobs I've done. I served in the military for a decade. I served in law enforcement for more than a couple of decades. I currently work in the well-being sector in the charity world for military veterans. I'm a professional public speaker. I've done a number of other things which help me in providing cogent and useful advice to people on the channel. So when I feel a hint of imposter syndrome, I remind myself I've got quite a large memory bank to draw upon and a lot of life lived that I can give advice on. But I always, always caveat the advice with telling people, I am not an expert. I'm just an ordinary bloke on the journey to Chap Nirvana, the same as you, and I'm giving you my perspective. So I've kind of largely got over the imposter syndrome. The next sort of thing, learning to present well on camera. I am a professional public speaker. In fact, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now as I film this. At 10:45 this morning, I was out giving a professional speaking gig to a room full of 50 people who were paying me to talk to them on a subject which I deliver as an enrichment lecture. And I'll be doing the same thing on Thursday. I'm up here all day tomorrow. On Thursday, I've got to nip out in the afternoon to give another lecture to another group. So I am perhaps better qualified than some when it comes to experience, not saying talent, but experience to offer, to present well on camera. You get over that. I mean, when you look at yourself initially, all you see is flaws. Oh, I'm getting old. I can see the crow's feet at the side of my eyes. I'm getting saggy in the jowls. I'm absolutely bald. And you think, oh, do I really look like that? But actually, I've long since come to understand that the outward veneer of a human being is merely that, just an outward veneer. It's not important. It's what's on the inside that counts. So I feel comfortable presenting to a camera, both verbally and in my physical appearance. I never wear makeup. This is how I look if you ever meet me. What's the next question? Or the next point which I would like to address? Handling negative feedback. Yeah, there are people who will leave derogatory comments on my videos. They will say, that's a rubbish bit of advice, or that's wrong, you're factually incorrect. And it really doesn't bother me in the slightest. As I said to you, I was a police officer, right, for 24 years. People have called me things that, you can't even write down. So it doesn't bother me in the slightest. And in fact, when I see a negative comment in the comment section, I think to myself, well, at least they've left a comment. It does something for the algorithm. I totally ignore it. Now, if it's something which is inflammatory or likely to offend somebody else while reading through the comments, I will delete them. And, as people often say, it's not a democracy. I am the monarch of this little channel, and I get to say, what comments stay and don't. So if you leave a comment which is inherently distasteful, you're using bad language, or you say something negative about another person or group of people, I will delete it out of hand. Don't give it a second thought. So the trolls don't bother me at all. The next challenge to overcome really was the technical learning curve, because I started YouTube as a 49-year-old guy with no experience of videography, of audio editing, nothing at all. And from the very beginning, I've sought to keep my videos as simple as possible. I have a simple camera. I've got a Sony ZV-E10, which is a modestly priced video camera. It's not even a video camera, it's a sort of general all-round camera, which has got good videos. It's sort of 4K, so you get fairly good visual quality. I hope you can see that. I upgraded my camera only within the last 6 months. Up to that point, I wasn't even using 4K. Now I see a big improvement. But I use iMovie to do all my editing, do it all myself. It's quite straightforward. I film outdoors. There's no issues with audio quality. I use a Rode Wireless Go mic. There's no worry about, sound bouncing around outdoors. It's a perfect environment for audio. And Mother Nature provides the lighting. So from the get-go, I've kept things very, very simple. And for me, that has aided my technical learning curve as a YouTuber. I keep it simple. And that way, I don't get flustered or worried or concerned. Now, I keep myself current with, sort of things that are coming out, audio processing and things like that, which improve the experience for the viewer. I'm always aiming to make it good for you guys to watch, but I don't get anal about it. And the final thing really, which is the hardest part, I guess, is staying consistent and motivated. Because whatever, or whatever niche you're in YouTube, there's going to be ups and downs, peaks and troughs. And sometimes my channel does really well. It gets 1,500, 2,000 new subscribers a month. Other times it drops well below 1,000 a month. I never, ever let it bother me. And I have an advantage. because I don't do it for financial gain, all right, so YouTube for me is a hobby. I've got financial stability through other areas of my life. I'm not looking for YouTube to be a profession or it is an income, but it's not my sole income. It's one of a number of income streams I have as a person. It allows me to remain motivated for the quality of the content. I very, very rarely ever I've never done paid review. Well, I have done 1 or 2 paid reviews on the channel, but only with products which I absolutely love myself. And I've allowed the product provider to fund trips where I've taken those products on a field test. I never really pocket any money from any review on this channel, because any money I get, I will spend testing the equipment. And it's very few and far between. I've done it for like 2 companies in nearly 6 years. So all of my stuff here is kind of independently based on my knowledge and experience. I don't find it difficult to be consistent because I'm quite a disciplined person in general. So it doesn't knock me back, if I get demotivated and I can't be bothered to film. I've never failed to upload in the whole 5.5 years that I've been delivering. I did have to take a sabbatical of a period when my former employer asked me to come off YouTube, and when they did that, I packed in that job. I said, well, if you're not comfortable with me doing YouTube, we're going to part company, because that's a big part of my life. And I left that company and went and sought other work elsewhere. So for me, consistency comes quite easily. It's just within my nature to be like that. And I remain motivated because I enjoy doing this, because I get to learn. If you ask me a question sometimes about etiquette or clothing or well-being, and I don't know about it, I'll go off, I will learn about it, I will track it down, and I'll bring you, a valid, coherent response based on my knowledge and experience. So it cuts both ways. I give you a product, you give me a reason to go and find out these things. So yeah, that's where that's where I am. So by and large, as you say, what's the most difficult thing? I haven't had one thing which holds me back and says, stop doing this. It's not worth your effort. Do you know what? If YouTube stopped paying me, don't tell them that, mind. But if YouTube, said you do this for nothing, we're stopping the sort of profit sharing scheme that they have with the ads on the videos, wouldn't bother me at all. I'd still do it. I'd still enjoy it, because I've made genuine personal friends through the YouTube journey, and it's my art form. It is simplistic, it's not complex, but it's something that I can do and helps people along the way, and that in turn makes my life a very happy and enjoyable place to be. So there we go, Michael. I hope you found that at least an illuminating answer to the question you posed for me today. Don't forget, if you're watching this and you want to probe me about anything more specific about YouTube, about me as a person, about anything at all, the subjects I cover, drop me that question. Do it on email or put it into the comment section below. I'm a one-man band here. I read every comment which is placed below. Everyone personally. And if I don't respond to them, I click the little heart button. I have read it when that happens. So there we go. Ask me that question. I'd be delighted to hear from you. If you want to come a bit further on the journey to Chap Nirvana with me, you can join my Patreon community. There's a tiny monthly fee, and you will benefit from the additional videos I make exclusively for my patrons each and every week. If you want to get in on that, use the link in the show notes below. Join the little club. I'd be delighted to have you aboard. So until the next time, take care, and I'll see you again very soon.
To hear the sound